Hello my colleagues, welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time here, you are most definitely welcome too. Today's video is a deeper one. I'll be breaking down 3 Nigerian companies I am personally watching very closely, not because they are trending, but because I believe they have the potential to print millions in the long run. I've done the research, I've gone through their numbers, and I've built a strong thesis around each one of these companies. So you want to watch this video all through to the end. Quick disclaimer though, this video is for educational purposes alone, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before investing in any stock I mention. Now, if you'd like to stay updated in real time with what I am researching, what I am buying, or what I am watching in the market, I share those updates first on my WhatsApp channel. You'll find the link in the description and pinned comment. And if you like to book a one-on-one call with me to help you build your personal investment or savings game plan, the booking link is also in the description and pinned comment. Please note, calls are paid and slots are very limited. I take only a few calls every month. And once you have booked, you will get my private WhatsApp line for follow-up. All right, if that sounds good, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and without wasting time, let's jump right into today's video. Let's go. So the first stock I have on my list is Leaks, and I'll be pretty honest with you, this is probably one of the riskiest companies I am watching right now. Let me explain. From 2021 all the way to 2023, Leaks reported zero revenue. Not a kobo was gotten from product sales. Why? Because they hadn't started harvesting yet. Their focus has been on oil palm and cassava, but they were still in the setup and planting phase. Fast forward to 2024, they finally posted 780 million naira in revenue. I know that's very small, and even more so when you realize that the first and second quarter of 2025 still showed no new revenue again. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite these weak numbers, the company is preparing to start actual palm oil production in the first, or let's say second or third half of 2025, according to what I researched. That's actually a big deal. This is what they have been building for the past 4 years. Now let's talk profitability. Leaks has been bleeding money. In 2021, they lost 562 million naira. In 2022, the losses jumped to 1.01 billion naira. And in 2023, they lost another 850 million naira. For the financial year ending July 2024, they ended with a net loss of 893.9 million naira. And as of early 2025, they are still in the deep red, reporting over 400 million naira in losses for just one quarter. So yeah, we are not looking at a profitable company right now, not even close. And because there is barely any revenue, you can't calculate their gross margins, and it's hard to say how efficient they really are in terms of how they handle their figures, also their financials. But from what I saw in their value added report, a lot of their spending goes into bought-in materials, admin expenses, and paying staff. Now, let's touch on their debt for a moment. As of July 2023, their total liabilities were around 3.5 billion naira, and they had a 940 million naira loan from the CBN through FCMB Bank, which they have brought down to 658 million naira as of December 2024. There's also this 500 million naira loan from MBC Capital at a crazy 32% interest rate. But the good news is that loan plus the interest has now been converted into equity in the company. They also ran a rights issue and are working on a private placement to raise fresh capital and reduce debt. So the company is definitely trying to clean up its balance sheet. So with all these problems, you might be asking, why is Micah watching or looking out for Leaks and thinking it's going to print millions for investors? Well, because the strategy and future plans of this company are actually very compelling. After their 2019 acquisition of Teluria Farms, the company fully pivoted from fish farming into agriculture, mainly oil palm and cassava, with plans to expand into soybean, maize, and rice. They have secured a 5,000 hectare concession in Enugu State for 35 years, plus more land in Ondo and Edo State, bringing their total land bank to 12,400 hectares. That's not small. They have also installed a 3-ton per hour crude palm oil mill expected to go live around sometime now in 2025. And this is key. This is very key. They have already signed 3 fast-moving consumer goods companies as off-takers for their produce. So once production starts, they won't be struggling to find buyers for their product. Their management is very clear on the long-term vision, becoming a vertically integrated agricultural business that is processing palm oil, cassava, and supplying the Nigerian and ECOWAS fast-moving consumer goods industries. They are not trying to flip profit very fast. They are building an infrastructure-heavy business from the ground up, and that actually takes time. If you compare them to companies like Okumu Oil, which operates in the same industry, Okumu Oil made over 130 billion naira in revenue in 2024 with profits of 39.9 billion naira and even paid dividends. Ella Lake is nowhere near Okumu Oil. But here's the thing, Okumu was once a small company like Ella Lake's too. Right now, Ella Lake's financials doesn't reflect the size of their assets with 12,400 hectares of land, a new mill, government support, off-taker deals, and some recent debt restructuring. There is value in this company that the current numbers don't actually reflect, even their stock price. They are still burning cash. Yes, I agree with you. They are still facing big challenges. Yes, I agree with you. Insecurity is affecting them. Yes. Rising inflation and supply chain issues. Yes. But here's the thing. This company is actively working on hiring securities to solve some of their security issues, partnering with the government and raising capital. So I think this company is a good buy. So guys, that's Ella Lake's risky but potentially rewarding. But what if you want a stock with a stronger fundamentals and a clearer cash flow story? That brings me to stock number 2, Aradel Holdings. Yes, I'm talking about Aradel Holding PLC. You might know them by their old name, which is Niger Delta Exploration and Production. But in 2023, the company rebranded, and with that came a bold new direction for Aradel. Now, let's jump into the nitty-gritty for this company. What does Aradel Holding actually do? Aradel Holding is not just an oil company. They have grown to become a fully integrated energy business, which simply means they operate across the full energy value chain. Upstream, that involves crude oil production, midstream, think processing and storage, and then the downstream sector, which they also operate in, and that includes refining, gas supply, and power. So unlike companies that only explore for oil or only refine it, Aradel Holding is doing all these 3, and that gives them more control, more flexibility, and potentially more profit. Now let's look at the financial performance from 2021 to 2024 for the company. In 2021, Aradel Holdings' total revenue was around 51.6 billion naira. In 2022, it grew to 66.1 billion naira. Then in 2023, it jumped to 221.1 billion naira. And in 2024, it rose to 581.2 billion naira. That's over 1,000% growth in just 3 years. Why? There are 2 big reasons. One is crude exports became more efficient. They solved a major bottleneck with evacuation. And 2 is that they ramped up production of both gas and refined products. Now, what about the profit? In 2024, Aradel made 316.8 billion naira before tax and 259.1 billion naira in profit after tax. To put that into perspective, that's almost 5 times what they made in 2023. And they're not just making money, guys, they are keeping a huge chunk of this money. Looking at their profit margin, as of 2024, profit before tax stood at 54.5%. Profit after tax stood at 44.6%. 44.6%. That's very strong. For context, guys, a 10 to 15% margin is actually good in many industries, but these guys are way above of that figure. Crazy. Now, in terms of their cash flow, this is actually where, whether you know whether all these numbers I'm calling is real money or just paper profits. So here's what matters. Aradel isn't just posting big profits on paper, they are actually keeping cash in the bank. In 2024 alone, they had over 175.1 billion in free cash flow and over 411 billion naira in total cash by the end of the year. That kind of liquidity gives them serious breathing room to invest, pay dividends, or even handle unexpected costs. Now, does the company have debt? Yes, they had around 62 billion naira in debt, but don't panic. They also have over 1.4 trillion naira in equity. That means they are not overly, or will I say heavily leveraged. Their CFO even confirmed that they are intentionally keeping things low debt so that they are not squeezed by interest payments due to the loans that they owe. Question is, what is Aradel Holding doing with all this cash that they have? Now, here are a few things. One is that they are investing into expansion. In Q1 2025 alone, they spent over 70 billion naira on new projects. Number two is that they took 33.3% stake in a company called Renaissance, the group that just bought Shell, the Shell that you know, onshore's assets. They bought this group that they invested into, bought some onshore assets of Shell. So this actually gives Aradel Holding access to bigger upstream opportunities. And then number three is that they are scaling their refining operations. They want to increase plant utilization to 60%. Number four is they are also growing their gas operations, targeting 50 million standard cubic feet per day. So they are not just sitting on cash, guys. They are investing into growth that can pay off on the long run. Now, what about returns for investors, which is very, very important? Their return on equity, ROE, hit 24.6% in 2024. That's actually a huge jump from previous years. It means management is using shareholders' money efficiently to grow profits. And in terms of their valuation, as of April 2025, Aradel's market cap is at around 2.19 trillion naira with 259.1 billion naira in profits. That gives them a PE ratio, a price to earning ratio of about 8.4 times. That is actually considered undervalued for a company that is growing this fast. In terms of dividends, they are actually rewarding shareholders in a big way. For 2023, they paid a 200 naira per share dividend, up from the 35 naira they paid in 2022 before they now went public in 2024. With Aradel's cash position, I think that they could even pay much more dividends in the coming year, and they have actually declared dividends for 2025. Aradel is not trying to just be another oil company. They have committed to Nigeria's energy transition, and they are exploring natural gas exploration, renewable energy projects, and carbon reduction strategies. And my final thought is, Aradel Holdings worth investing into? Well, if you're a long-term investor who looks at strong cash flow, high margins, disciplined growth, and undervaluation, then Aradel is one of the most interesting energy companies right now in Nigeria. They are profitable, they are liquid, and they are also investing in the future of the company and still undervalued based on their earnings. So guys, this is definitely a company that is going to print millions for investors. Now, let me know in the comments, what do you think about Aradel Holding? Would you invest in them or not? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying videos like this, let me know in the comments. It's going to give me more motivation to actually make more breakdowns like this one. Let's jump into the next company. If you have been watching what's happening in the Nigerian stock market lately, you have probably seen how Nigerian breweries just came back to life with a major profit after years of losses. But here's another company in the same industry that is also waking up slowly but surely. I'm talking about International Breweries, and this stock is number 3 on my list and might be one of the most underrated stocks on the NGX right now. Let me show you why I think this stock could actually surprise a lot of people in 2025. So International Breweries is owned by AB InBev, the biggest beverage, or let's say beer company in the world. They have been in Nigeria for a while and have popular drinks like Trophy, Hero, Better Malt, some drinks that are very popular in the East and some other parts of Nigeria. But let's be real. For the past few years, this company has been going through a lot. From 2021 to 2024, they were just posting losses back to back. In 2021, they lost 17.6 billion naira. In 2022, it went up to 21.6 billion naira. In 2023, they lost a shocking 70 billion naira. Then in 2024, it got even worse, hitting 113 billion naira. 113 billion naira in losses. On the surface, it looks like a company that is not just working. But when you look closer, when you zoom in, the real problem wasn't even the business itself. The main issue was foreign exchange losses. They had dollar loans, and because of all the naira devaluation, their losses kept getting worse. The more the naira fell, the more money they owed in naira terms. So even though they were selling more drinks and running the business very, very well, the FX losses and interest payments kept dragging everything down. But here is where it gets interesting. In Q1 2025, International Breweries finally posted profits. Yes, guys, you had it. After years of seeing red, they finally made some money. From a 60 billion naira loss in Q1 of 2024 to a 29 billion naira profit in Q1 2025. That's a serious turnaround. We're talking about almost a 90 billion naira swing. Revenue also jumped by 68% from 103 billion naira to 173 billion naira. Gross margins was the best it's been in years, 34.3%, and operating profit was 31.5 billion naira. That tells me this wasn't just luck or a one-off. The business is actually now doing better. Now, let me tell you something that a lot of people do not actually know. Even when this company was busy posting losses, International Breweries was still generating some solid cash flow. In 2021, they did 67 billion naira in operating cash flow. In 2023, 77 billion naira in cash flow. And in 2024, it rose to 149 billion naira. That means the actual business, the selling of drinks, and the operation as a whole was making money. The losses were just from loans and FX issues. But in 2024, they raised fresh capital through a rights issue. They brought in new money to clean up their balance sheet and reduce their dollar exposure. We're already seeing results of that. Net assets per share went from 4 naira 30 kobo in 2023 to 13 naira 80 kobo in 2024. That's actually a very strong sign of recovery. Now, let's talk about the share price because the market is actually beginning to notice this company. At the start of 2025, the stock was around 5 naira 55 kobo. As of 20th of May 2025, the stock was trading at 9 naira 80 kobo. That's a 76% gain this year alone. Over the last 6 months, it has actually risen by 145%. Volume for the company, volume from the stock is also coming up, meaning that more people are buying, are paying, and paying attention to this company. It's very similar to what happened with Nigerian Breweries. The Nigerian Breweries posted a big loss in Q1 2024, then made a profit in Q1 of 2025, and their stock price exploded. So now the question is, could International Breweries be the next stock price or stock to explode? Here's the thing, even after all this progress, most investors are still ignoring this stock. Some are still looking at 2024 losses and haven't checked the Q1 numbers for 2025. Others are actually scared because they have been burnt before in this stock. But for those of us who understand turnarounds, this might be one of the best entry points before the real momentum kicks in for this stock. They have fixed the main issue. They have proven that the business is strong. They are profitable again in Q1 2025, and the market is starting to reward them. Now, I'm not saying that you should go and throw all your life savings into this stock. It's still a recovering company, but sometimes the best opportunities are in places where most people have stopped looking. And that's why International Breweries is number 3 on my list of Nigerian stocks to watch out for this year that could print millions for investors. It's been through the fire, but now it might finally be coming out stronger. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you also watching this stock? So guys, there you have it, my 3 Nigerian stocks that I believe have the potential to print millions or let's say serious profit in 2025. What do you think? Am I missing any stock that's on your radar, or is there one from this list that actually caught your attention? Let's talk in the comment section. And hey, my Kali, if you got value from this video, don't forget to share it with someone and smash that like button so YouTube can push this video to more people. These videos take time to research and produce, so more views can actually help to grow the community. Also, don't forget there's a link in the description to join my private WhatsApp channel and then my Telegram community. And until next time, my Kalis, see you on the next one. Deal.